Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Buddy Study Group and another one of the highly requested study group presentations that I try to do biannually, and that's our Tech and Tools exhibition. And I think this is particularly relevant for us as a company that is rooted in quite a lot of tech, both custom and third party. It takes a lot of different tools in our neck of the woods to be able to get things done and scale things and be time efficient, and that also goes for the partners we work with as well. So, um, what I want to do is give you an idea of our mindset. We're constantly, every single day, evaluating different pieces of tech for different purposes, a lot of them for the specific purpose of saving long-term care specialists time and making sure that they're spending a lot of that time doing what they do best. So, what I want to start with is what I generally start with on these sessions, just kind of setting the frame of mind for how to evaluate tech for your business. And then we'll go into some of the tools we use every day and why we think they're helpful to you. But I want to hear from you all as well. I think one of the greatest ways we learn about tech and are able to implement it for ourselves is kind of through word of mouth. People will generally be happy to talk about whatever tool has helped save them a bunch of time. So if you have any of those that have been huge wins for you over the last year, that'd be a huge contribution to the discussion. I also think if you are looking for a specific piece of tech to implement into your business to solve a certain problem, shout it out. Maybe we have a recommendation, maybe somebody else has a recommendation, but I'll also give you an idea of how to start from zero on your own if you're looking for that magic bullet for one thing or another in your practice. Okay? So that's kind of our agenda, but to dive into it, how should you be mentally approaching the use and implementation of tech into your day-to-day business as a long-term care professional, as a financial professional? I think the my golden rule is identify what you're doing manually. Okay. First and foremost, you have to identify your manual processes. It's important to figure out what to fix before you can actually go about fixing it. I think folks will try to fix a problem, realize it's not really that big of a problem, and spend a lot of time trying to find that solution when they don't even really need to solve that problem first and foremost. So I think the manual, most repeated items that you're dealing with day in and day out in your business are the top candidates, right? You have to do it yourself. It is not a good use of your time if there's an easier way to do it, and you're having to do it a lot. Those are the top candidates to really change about your business. And I always talk about 80/20 principles, right? What is really going to comprise 80% of your time spent for 20% of the results, right? Or what are the things you do in your business that you maybe spend 20% of the time on, but results in 80% of your revenue, right? We know as long-term care specialists, a lot of what we're doing is behind the curtain, right? We are scheduling meetings, we're doing outreach, we are pre-qualifying, we're running quotes. Some of those things need to be done by us, need to be manual and repeated, but there are some things that really don't. Your 2080 is really meeting with prospects and clients and talking to them about the importance of long-term care and helping them find a plan that fits with them. We have so many extracurriculars that take up a lot of our time. There are some that we can automate to save us time. And instead of spending 20 to 40% of that time, meeting with families and prospects, we can increase the amount of time we're spending doing that, or we can have more time to ourselves and have a little bit of work-life balance. It all depends on who you are, right? I'm not here to say this is so you can work harder in other areas if that's not what you're trying to do. Maybe you're nearing retirement. Maybe you want to slow down your practice a bit and you want more time left over to be able to spend with your family or traveling, whatever it may be. So don't just think of it about here's how you can cram even more work into important areas if that's not what you're about. If you are, great. That's your opportunity there. But it's also just about making the most of your time, right? So if you've identified, I'll call them the rocks in your shoe, manual things that you're doing a lot that you feel like you shouldn't be doing or don't want to do, or if it's both, that's like really the key. Once you've identified those, go on a search for tools. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. I'm going to help you understand how to go search for these tools. Number one, I would ask people that you respect or people that you know who are very tech savvy as a start. If they know of anything, you may get a good recommendation, you may not. But I think when people ask us for recommendations, we're always giving them in the context of what it means for our business. So you have to take whatever recommendation if there's no context given, and you really need to understand if it's going to be a fit for your business. So I think two better ways are quick Google search, number one. But number two, I think this is what like AI, ChatGPT, I think this is what this was designed for. This is like one of the best use cases for AI that exist. I think as I've been down the road in helping to build some AI tools, I've worked with developers who are building AI tools and kind of, just following along in the process. I think that sometimes we try to do a little too much with AI for where it is today. Not to say that there aren't amazing tools that are using AI to its full potential in this industry and others that do a great job. But I think for most of us, we need to recontextualize how we use AI. AI is for many of us designed as a really smart companion to think alongside us. I think the way we are prompting AI is going to influence how much we get out of it. I think many folks will come into ChatGPT or an AI support agent or whatever it may be and just kind of put in a one-liner like they're doing a Google search. They take what comes out of it and they leave it at that. I think what people don't realize just yet is if you sit there and have a 15 to 20-minute conversation with a chat GPT or something of that nature, even if it's done in little chunks, right? I do a one-liner, I read some stuff, okay, let me just sit on that, let that marinate. But I come back and I start adding even more layers, even more flavor, even more specificity to what I'm looking for. Your results get so much better. Keep that conversation chain open and keep adding to it. So if I could give you an example, I am looking right now. I'm between a couple of options, but haven't really figured out a tool yet to really help me take more control of my email inbox. Get a lot of emails. It can be hard to sort through some of the noise. It can, uh, you know, give a feeling like when you end the day, am I sure I've addressed everything and I've followed up with everyone? You know, tons of uses. But I actually prompted ChatGPT with this, like with what I'm saying to you. I'm looking for a tool that will help me with my inbox, and I'm looking for these specific features. I'm looking for the first time I open my email every day, I get a summary of what I've received overnight. I think that's a big deal because I can come in with a pretty full inbox because I'm Pacific time. The Eastern time zone wakes up much earlier than I do. I receive a lot of emails. Can you summarize my unread emails first thing in the morning? can you send me a summary of, I can press a button and give me a summary of what I still have to follow up on at the end of the day. Can you help me crunch email chains into a thread where I can read through some bullet points, understand where I need to dive deeper, but really make quicker use instead of fumbling through my inbox? So I put all of those things in there. I got some recommendations. That's great, but I don't want to stop there. It's going to give me a summary of features that each tool has, and that's awesome. But then I need to take it another layer further. Can you please give preference to free tools and even more preference to tools that work with Gmail, because we're a Google workspace, or have some sort of Gmail plugin? And more results start coming, or the results start to get refined. If I'm seeing a name a couple of times, that means I'm starting to get some intersection in all of the conversation that I'm having, and these are the best candidates. But I want to go even further than that. I'm worried about specific permissions. What can this tool actually have access to? Um, is this tool going to provide me summaries, or is it just going to pull out emails that I need to address that are unread, right? There's all sorts of preferences that you don't know you have until you read that first result. Think about it for yourself for a second, and then say, here's what I feel like was omitted from the first message that I got. So I just think that's like something that is important for people to know. It seems like very out there or like a reach, but I really think people aren't getting enough out of AI, and I don't think they're using it in the right way. This is a companion to think along with you, and the more you give it ideas, the more you're going to get back, and it's capable and it actually wants to refine results based on a long conversation. Do you have anything to add there, Mark? Sorry, it came off
No, you
mute.
just triggered like another idea along the same lines, so I thought it might be worth sharing, which is I was looking to do a sales presentation, and rather than using, PowerPoint, I had heard about an AI tool on one of my podcasts that uses it for their sales reps to create kind of like customized, on-demand sales presentations. So Gretchen and I tried it out over the last, I guess, just yesterday, right? This just happened in the last couple of days. And I don't know, Gretchen, if you have feedback, but I thought it worked pretty well. I'll put it in the chat, a link. It's called Gamma. But you like you said, Jason, it's really about just experimenting, right? There's a free version of it. It's pretty easy to get out of the box, try it out, see if it's a fit. If you're doing a lot of sales presentations, I'm sure many of you on the call are doing that, and this is a pain point, like Jason said, a rock in your shoe, right? An area where you spend a lot of time, but maybe don't get as much out of it. It's a good way to even start ideating, and then you can edit it as well. And Gretchen, I don't know if you have something you wanted to add there.
Yeah, it's a little bit buggy. It's clearly a sort of new thing. Um, so you just have to be patient. And adding images and things like that, you tend to get some error messages. But if you're just uploading, like you can upload bullet points and it'll throw it into a presentation. You can pick a template. So yeah, but they have some work to do, but it's pretty good to get started.
And that helps the conversation too, because I think all of these things, you can't take them as gospel. You have to evaluate where the tech is at any given time, and every tool is going to have different levels of progress. If you're on the cutting edge, there is a chance you're going to be early to some things. So for many, if you're early to a specific tool, don't throw it in the trash, but don't center your entire business around it. I
Mhm.
think it's good to use it for what cases you can use it for. And at the end of the day, I think you should keep tabs on it and actually watch it develop. There are a number of tools where we've decided, hey, for our community, it's just not in the right place yet, but we're going to keep tabs on it. Sometimes we have relationships with the account managers of those tools or founders in some cases, or sometimes it's from a larger company and we just check in every once in a while. Oh, I wonder where, this tool has gotten to now. And I think that's one of the big um, pieces to remember is always kind of progress check these tools. And if it's not ready to make a cornerstone piece of your business, don't make a cornerstone type of commitment, right? Um, and technology is advancing very, very, very quickly. These tools and these companies move insanely quickly. So there is a chance that this product is missing one key feature that you need. And you may find that it gets added in 90 days. 45 days, 30 days, 2 weeks later. I've had many scenarios where I'm like, man, I wish this feature existed, and I waited 3 to 4 weeks and it came out with the feature I needed. So let's move, right? Um, so I think that's just kind of some flavor on number one, how I see AI. It's not the all-knowing. You're not to take everything as verbatim. It is a companion to think along with you. That is a tremendous aid. And I guess one more bonus thing for using AI, especially kind of the general GPTs, if you prompt an AI asking, I'm trying to build XYZ. Can you walk me through it step by step? It will actually start to coach you through that process. So I'm trying to build a presentation. I'm trying to write an article on XYZ. I'm trying to do something, per this industry standard. Can you walk me through it step by step? I think that is a huge piece of it. And you're always going to have control, but it's going to kind of just allow you to take things and bite size pieces despite yourself. I think we try to solve it all immediately, and that can be really helpful. But just in back to getting new tools, you may get really good recommendations that you want to go for. One of the things that I'll say is many tools out there have free versions or have a 30-day trial or a 7-day trial. Take advantage of all the trial opportunities you can. Because even if you use my trick, you go to ChatGPT, you find something that seems pretty useful, but maybe isn't there yet, or you just want to exhaustively work through the list. Again, it's not going to give perfect answers all the time. So going through a trial, you may realize, wow, this is a better fit for me than I actually thought. I checked it out because there was one quality I liked, but there's actually I really like the way this tool does things now that I'm behind the wheel and using it. So a lot of this, like, I'm just trying to save people from making crazy enterprise level investments on things in their business when most of the best tools we use are completely free and some of their best features are completely free. These companies are competing with all sorts of other free softwares out there. So that competition has really moved many companies to make sure their best features are free. When freemium kind of first started in the tech world, hardly anything was kind of given away with the free version. But I think now we're starting to get much more rich and robust free tools. So always um, try to go for free first because we want to limit our overhead wherever we can, even if we're on the pursuit of getting more efficient. And then when it comes to using the tools, like, these tools all have their own sort of built-in baseline tutorials. There are tons of advanced features you could be missing out on if you just take that intro tutorial and you say, well, I must be good, right? Or you spend a lot of time just clicking around aimlessly. Guys, there are hundreds of thousands of people all around the world who now have careers as content creators on YouTube, trying new tech, new tools, becoming as much of an expert as they can as quickly as possible, and providing that advice to folks like you who may be aimlessly clicking around until they find what they're looking for, and when they do, may not be using things to their full capabilities. So, I mean, this is a full-time job for people. If there is a tool that has a good amount of use, I can guarantee you there will be YouTube tutorials out there on how to use them and get granular with how you search. Because at the end of the day, people make 2-minute vignettes on a specific feature in a tool that could really change stuff for you. So, um, I think new tech is like, I don't want to necessarily over spoon feed you tech that might not be a good use case for you, but I do want you to be in the right headspace and think about the right things as you're evaluating technology for your business. So we will go through some of those tools. But does that all make sense? Anybody have any thoughts or comments on that? I know we had a couple of recommendations in the chat, so um, there's some good reading material there. I'm gonna have to click these links and save them personally. But let me just talk about for long-term care specialists. I know if you've seen these tech and tools exhibitions before, there are some tools that I'm going to tell you about each and every time. But we get new people on the study group quite a lot, and there are tools that I don't want you to live without if you feel that it can solve X, Y, or Z problem for you. So I'm going to repeat them. It plain and simple. People need to know about them. Automated appointment scheduler. If we are about to be in 2026 and you do not have a way to send somebody a link to see your full availability and schedule time with you on their own time without having to follow up, that reminds you and reminds the client about your meeting, sends automatic follow-up emails saying, "Thank you for your time. I'm here for any other questions that you have." You need to do this. I really do not see this as like this is good for some people and not others. I truly see this as something that is good for absolutely everyone. It is such a time saver if you have somebody who is, using that tool, who you have as like your scheduler, right? I still think that's fine. I'm not telling you to go out and fire your setter, but make that person more efficient so they can help you with other things in your business that are really going to move the needle because tools like Calendly is the one we use every day, but I know people use Booksy. I know people use, Outlook scheduler. Um, you need to do that. I think if you have somebody who's dedicated to appointment scheduling, that's great. They can do a lot of the other soft touch things like call to confirm, but you need to know that the tools do that too. They can't call and reach out just yet. They will be able to in a few years, I'm certain. But at the end of the day, that is too much of a time save, even if you have an employee semi-dedicated to that. Your appointment setter can all of a sudden flip to, um, you know, calling people on their birthdays. It can flip to managing the Rolodex and other elements of your CRM to make sure you're following up in a timely manner on things. I just think this tool does way, way, way too much for people in our business and takes away way too many headaches for you to not be using it. I know I talk about that every single time, so I won't belabor the point, but Calendly, in my opinion, is the gold standard. Their free version will give you most everything you need to make the decision of is this useful for me or not. Um, Even just the automated email after the appointment that says, "Thanks for your time. I'm here for any questions," has led to business opportunities for, I'm sure, all of us on the buddy team who use it. People just want that communication so that they can reply and say, "Oh, I forgot something," right? And that makes a huge difference in the relationship building. And your most accurate availability based on your calendars. Now, I will say it's predicated on having a digital calendar that you use and keep updated because it's going to read that availability. So make sure you do that. Yep. I mean, Chris is given the basics. I agree. Zoom or Teams, um, 365, or if you're a Google Workspace, um, any of the Google Workspace tools, a website, agreed, Calendly, agreed, paid chat GPT. I think your mileage may vary, but to a certain extent, I agree. There are some limits on what you can do. It depends on how much you use it. VoIP services, I would also agree they're even better if it's integrated into your CRM, like a HubSpot, like an Active Campaign. If you're somebody who's dialing a lot, being able to do it right out of your CRM, log it in your CRM, take notes immediately after, those are things that save a lot of time. Um, I think CRMs, I don't want to open Pandora's box of which CRM is best. It's crazy how many CRMs there are out there and how many use cases they have. Again, I would kind of go through that ChatGPT like conversation and say, this is exactly what I need. And can you help me organize them by those who are costly or, good value for free or lowest pricing tier? And I think you can find that really helpful. Feel free to drop the CRM that you use, like Chris, and a description of why. I think for us, HubSpot happens to be a great fit because it can do so many things. It allows us to do all of our workflows and automations. It allows us to do a lot with, um, outreach and communication, lead distribution, note taking, form building, customer service backend tools, are a lot of our operations, even a lot of the buddy system um, pages that you see are integrated HubSpot landing pages that are embeddable. So HubSpot can do a lot for us that people might not necessarily have a need for. And there are costs associated with each little bit of HubSpot you can use. So I don't know if I would recommend it for a singular long-term care specialist, but hopefully some folks will have some really good recommendations in there. Um, let me see. What else do I want to talk about? One of the study groups we had recently was the field underwriting study group with Linda, and I'm sure everybody can agree that was a really, really good session. But one of the things she showed off that I think everybody should also have, if I can plug her website very quickly, is forms. So any sort of electronic form. Linda took us on a super deep dive through her long-term care questionnaire. And when you click on this, hello, there we go. It will take you to a very, very lengthy form to walk through. But there are so many thoughtful questions in this pre-qualification. Linda is gathering so much information on these clients. And the best part about this platform, I recognize it as Jotform, she confirmed it as Jotform, is that it's HIPAA compliant. So you can actually take your digital pre-quals online and remain HIPAA compliant, get all of the health information that you need. But it doesn't necessarily stop there. Linda gets notified whenever anybody fills out the form so that she can follow up with her clients in a very, very timely manner once they've completed that step of the process, right? That information is kept in a HIPAA compliant database where she can go back and refer to those, and all of her digital records are managed right within Jotform, which is an incredible piece to this, right? It allows people to take that first step with you with very, very little resistance. Um, so I think Typeform is also a great form builder. We have started using HubSpot's native form builder, but there are a heck of a lot of form builders out there. I think some people use SurveyMonkey has a form builder as well. Um, so let's see. What else do I have? I have a lot, guys. So if you have any thoughts on anything you're trying to add, I know sometimes you can not necessarily come in with an idea, but seeing good ideas is what really helps. Um, so let me give you another tool that um, I think for me has been essential in just what I do in my day to day. That tool is called Scribe, and I will share that with you. So what Scribe does is it helps you create super, super quick online guides. If you work with me on any uh, group enrollment opportunities or you're on any of our teams here, you've probably seen a Scribe guide or two from me. So what I have used this for is creating really simple and easy step-by-step guides. These are easy to read through. Every action that you take is going to provide a screenshot automatically that you can then edit to add arrows to. Wherever I'm clicking on the screen, it's adding where I should go. So if you're trying to coach clients through an application process like an e-app that they're doing on their own, or you're walking them through some paperwork, you're going to leave it behind, they're going to sign it. You want to show them where to sign it. If they've, um, you know, just gotten their policy delivered and you want to send them instructions on accessing their agent portal or their client portal and whatever information that they would need to access, anything at all where you need to show somebody how to do something and you don't want to have a meeting and you don't necessarily want to record a video, Scribe gives you super nice step-by-step guides. This is actually the guide that I use for all of our group sales tools, any sort of tutorials that I have to make to help people navigate our technology. Let me show you how simple this is. Can you see my new tab? Are we in the buddy system now? Okay, I have a little plug-in up here that I can just click for Scribe, and it opens up this little sidebar here. And it's got this Start Capture button. So let's say I want to, hmm, well, actually, our group quick quote has just recently gotten an update. So I want to be able to make a new guide on that. So I'm going to hit Start Capture. And Scribe is going to start essentially capturing my keystrokes. And I'm going to click Quick Quote. I'm going to go through this exactly as I want you to. There's a Compare Your Plan button where we can now compare group plans to individual policies. So we can compare it to individual life and long-term care. We can compare it to individual traditional long-term care. We can compare it to the cost of care. We can compare it to self-funding. And what I also want to do is show you if I don't want to do the side by side, I can turn that off. And if I wanted to show you other elements, like for example, I wanted to show you that you can see underwriting parameters based on the benefit level you've selected, I'm just going to click over there. And let's say that's a good enough guide. And I'm going to hit complete capture. What this now takes me to is essentially it takes a stab at what I've done here, and AI attempts to put a title here, but you can see it's actually giving me my guide. Click quick quote. That's what I did, right? Click compare your plan. So I can add flavor to this. It's not just click compare your plan. Click compare your plan to populate a second chart where you can compare a number of different scenarios to your group plan. More below. And then individual long-term care, and on and on. I add my own flavor to this, but I've already got pictures showing people exactly where to click and what they're going to be looking at. And if I want to highlight a piece, all I have to do is literally click my mouse and it's going to capture a screenshot and it's going to give me another step. right? So then I just rename this what's new with group quick quote. Done. And that's a guide, and it tells me it takes 33 seconds to read through this and understand it, right? So I can send this to somebody and say, here's a less than 1 minute guide on what's new with the group quick quote. So I think for quoting, application process, whatever it may be that you have to instruct clients on, it's a huge deal instead of taking the time to, walk them through it on a Zoom meeting or whatever else.
Yeah, it'd be great to take somebody through an illustration, right? That way.
100%. Yeah, I think you can get super creative with it. I think for me, the point is to show you what's easy about the tech, and it's up to you guys to think about what do I need to eliminate as far as manual processes, or what do I need to make quicker. That is still technically a manual process, but that's about as automatic as a manual process gets. Um, image editing and things like that are available on the pro version. I use the pro version. But even the free version will give you a ton of value. And you also get email notifications when your scribe is read. That really helps me to understand, should I be expecting a response from somebody soon saying, hey, I wasn't able to actually do this, or hey, this was great, thank you. I'll tell you, the response 100% of the time is, hey, this was great, thank you, and not, hey, I wasn't able to do this based on the instructions. Because it's not going to capture anything you're not physically able to do yourself. There may be times where somebody has a tech issue and that makes them unable to replicate what I'm doing. But otherwise, if all things are equal, I have never had a problem with somebody coming back and saying, hey, the instructions were unclear, right? So I think we've all had frustrating client interactions where there's just too much back and forth. I think that's one of the things that will really help me. Will Scribe create in other languages? That's a super good question. That's a super good question that I want to find the answer to. Um, hmm.
One thing I've learned having been
Yes,
asked,
it
like,
can translate, by the way.
yeah, so there's that's an option. Also, if you ever like look at a web page, you can oftentimes right click and you can use Google Translate. So we've had like requests for certain like Spanish language content for group enrollments. It's actually easier than you think to translate it, and obviously Scribe might have that built in as well.
Yep. Good to have a native speaker to double check those things, though. I will say that there have been experiences there. So having a tool translate something and then you put it actually into Google Translate in reverse order. Now translate this back to English. Will this carry over? You kind of create this weird infinity mirror of two languages talking to each other. But I think all of this stuff is, you know, always double check your work, always do your homework. But for much of this, I think. Yeah, Loom, Chris, I still have use cases for Loom. That's a good point. Scribe, I will agree, is way easier than Loom, but Loom can do things that Scribe can't at this moment. I still think there's a value to video capture. If I have to explain something that is way too long to write out, I think Scribe takes some of the what used to be easier Loom use cases and makes them 10 times easier. But Loom is still very good if you need to have essentially a one-way discussion with somebody as you're going through something. Loom is essentially just video record, audio record. I'm sharing my screen. Maybe I'm on camera in the bottom left-hand corner and I have to walk you through something. I think it creates a nice division of labor between the two, and I use both. And I think just identifying when the right time is to use both is super, super helpful. Anybody have any other tools? I know you guys have been great in the chat, kind of recommending what you use for tools, but does anybody have a rock in their shoe that they don't know how to solve, or other tech they want to talk through?
Jason, I just want to share a couple of things that are more, LTC industry
Yeah,
specific.
yeah, go for it.
Obviously, you guys probably know about the buddy quoting tools. But there are a couple of new players in that space that we want you guys to be aware of. For underwriting, Pathwork AI
Yep.
is a become a really good solution. So definitely check out them. Excella, Xcela, it's doing something similar. Both of them are doing it for both life insurance and for long-term care slash hybrids. So using AI to kind of pre-qualify, I would say is a quick summary. I'm sure they do a lot of other things too. Water Lily just came out with some underwriting slash quoting software that's connected with a few carriers. So if you haven't checked out Water Lily, another good technology provider in the space. And then Insight has quoting software for long-term care now as well. So, it's great to see more options available. Obviously, as they mature and develop, we'll kind of see what niches they fill. But it's good that we're getting some investments into our our niche, right, into long-term care. Haven't seen it in a few years, so it's good to see more interest there. We'll probably have some of those folks on, for various study groups, but let us know what you're finding that's of interest to you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that that really brings me to a good point of like in the beginning going over that mentality of evaluating what you actually do need in your business. That helps you become a really, really good user of the tech and a really good feedback generator. A lot of companies, us included, with our tech that we've built for the sales process, um, really want feedback. They want to deliver what you want, right? I mean, they are so interested in retaining their existing audience. It is much easier to keep an existing customer than it is to constantly go out and try to find new ones. It's also less costly, right? So if there are things in the roadmap that they're already planning on doing, but they get a ton of feedback about something that it was a little farther down the line, enough voices saying something can have something moved up the development roadmap. You could start to see features sooner if you are more forthcoming with giving your feedback, whether it's, positive, negative, or somewhere in the middle. I think evaluating, again, your own use cases and what you see in the tool can really help you get the most out of it. And, I think that can get you attention from some companies at the end of the day. So, um, some companies have so many metrics on who's using their tools and doing what and how much, whatever they're creating is getting viewed that, Gretchen, I know you and I had one of these experiences before, but, we've had companies reach out to us and say, you're using the heck out of our tool and you're using it a lot. I would just love to hear from you. Like, what is your experience? Like, what is working for you? Because we love to see that it's working for people. We want to make sure this is better. And in the case of um, the one Gretchen and I were working on, hey, can we interview you and put you like a blurb in our article just to use you as a success story? Like those things happen too. They want to interface with you, and a lot of them have, customer success people who are interested in finding those stories or marketing people who are interested in finding those stories. So you can make some really cool relationships out of those. And when they hear, hey, insurance professionals are really power users of my tool, that will start to inform the way they make decisions.
Yeah, that was ad event. I don't know. I've been multitasking, so I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if you're
should I
talking
should
about
give
ad
them a
event.
shout. Yeah,
Yeah,
let me go in and give an idea of what ad event is real
it's super
quick.
cool.
So ad event, let me see. I think it is thinking right now. Um, I think my ad event is sleeping. Let me see. Hold on. So ad event will give you the ability to essentially throw throw items on an internal calendar for you you can see we have the recurring study groups on here, but we also do this for certain group webinars and other um, events that we may put on virtually. And if you hold webinars for existing clients, for prospects, or anything else, and you think it can be a pain in the butt using Zoom's webinar registration, look no further than this. You can click into an event, and this is a landing page that essentially the end user would get. So you could email out just this ad event link, and what it gives you, really easy. It gives you date and time. It gives you who's the organizer, how to reach them, where is this going to be held, what's the Zoom link, and it's a one button click to add this to your calendar. And by the way, it accommodates all those really annoying calendars that need to be set up all in different ways. Instead of sending a .ics file, you send an ad event link, and no matter what platform they use of the major digital calendar users, it's going to add it straight to their calendar. So we
So the pain point that we were solving for us, and Jason found this, thank you, Jason, was
ChatGPT found this because I asked it.
chat GPT was people were not saving the registration to their calendar. It was getting wonky.
Well,
So
here's the actual. I was afraid of pissing off every one of our very nice community members with a very large calendar invite that had 500 people on it. I could no longer get access to the guest list without it being in an Excel spreadsheet. And every time I made a change to that calendar event, everybody got an email. Some people
yeah,
got 5 emails. When somebody hit reply all and said, "What the heck is this?" you know, everybody got that email as well. So it was creating chaos that I desperately needed to stop, and I couldn't find out how to do it for like a year. So I asked ChatGPT, and this just handles it on everybody's individual calendar.
yeah,
So super helpful.
fantastic.
I know we want to probably give an honorable mention to Canva too, Gretchen. You want to just give
Oh,
a couple of words on what Canva
Canva.
does for us?
If you don't use Canva, raise your hand because it's becoming more of a bigger tool for more and more small businesses as a way to um, design marketing collateral and content without needing a degree in design. Not that designers aren't, professional designers aren't totally awesome. I appreciate a great designer, but sometimes you just got to get it done and you need to do it in a very financially efficient way. So we use Canva and we use it all the time, every day. We and it's a way that we can share template content with you guys. So if you're in the portal, you'll see that there are Canva templates in there that you can go in and customize and make them your own. So we're all about sharing. So Canva makes it super easy for us
All
to
you
do
need is a
that.
free account for that too.
Yep. Yep.
Nothing else. And you will use that for maybe a couple presentation slides. You may use it for invoices. You may use it for, um, social media graphic that you can post. And
Mhm.
before you know it, you're going to start using it for birthday cards, birthday invites, like
I
anything
do.
and
I do.
everything. You
So
can
what
really,
Mark has here, I'm sorry, Jason, go
no,
ahead.
no, go for it.
What Mark has here is what he's opened up is the Long-Term Care Awareness Month social media posts. So once you have the template, you save it as your own template, and then you can update pretty much everything in that template. There's really nothing that's like locked down.
Yeah, and you can save in all of these different formats, which I know some of us have. Picky clients, PDF print. Shout out to PDF print, like the most handsome output you could ever look at, and probably the best way to actually print whatever you make in Canva. Um, but yeah, great tool.
These are right here are formatted for social media, I believe specifically for Facebook, but yeah, but all of the colors, anything in here that you can remove our logo, anything in here can be customized. Uh, oh, oh, you can take that out. I saw that and I'm like, I don't know if that's editable, but I guess it is.
Canva
Yeah,
saved our butts a lot.
yeah, many times. Yeah,
And you don't need to be an expert.
no.
It just takes a little bit of practice.
If
Maybe watch a YouTube video or two.
if Mr. Glickman can design something in Canva, all of you can do it. Trust me.
Correct.
I'm a great Excel designer, but that's not a
You
highly sought after
you are
skill.
fantastic Excel designer.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, event announcements to lunch and learns. Yep, yep. Um, really, really solid tool. So, guys, that's really what I have. I mean, I try to bring at least 1 to 2 new tools that I haven't discussed to these, but I think the most important thing for me is that folks are sharing what they use and they like in the chat, so people have a bunch of goodies to check out when they're done with the session. Get a demo on a couple things that I think are really helpful for certain use cases in your guys' day-to-day. But most importantly, how do you actually go about evaluating where am I leaking water out of my boat as far as time in my day? And where can I get that back? We're not just long-term care specialist robots who roll out of bed and do it until we go back to bed. You know, we have families, friends, we have obligations, we have hobbies, we have traveling to do, we've got things to see. So anything that can help give you that time back, just go through that mental exercise. Use a tool to help you find a tool, and hope you can add something that if it saves you 1 minute a day, that's 5.5+ hours times how many tools can you find for that a year, right? I know what I'd do with an extra 5 hours a year. I would get 5 extra hours of sleep. So you decide what you want to do with it and go find them. That's it. Anybody have anything
Wait,
else?
Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday. I don't know if any of you guys are planning on joining us on our Thursday study group, but Mark and Jason both have an enrollment webinar at that time. So the marketing team's taking it over, and the beloved John Thomas is going to join us, and he's going to talk about Amada and why they are one of our preferred community partners. So join me. Don't leave me
And
alone. Yeah.
you better.
Yeah.
You bet.
Karen,
I'm not
Karen, I
even
hope you're
saying I'm
there,
not even
Karen
saying
Nally.
please. I'm not even saying please. You guys better show up, and you better support Gretchen. You better
That's
smile,
right. That's right. Even if you don't
and
do group,
you
you
better
learn.
talk. That's it. I don't have any time for games with that. And then next Tuesday, Julie Udovich is going to join us, and we're going to go through the nationwide annuity. How's that sound? So brand new long-term care annuity out there on the market, getting a lot of buzz out there, and you're going to see why. And Julie's great. Everybody loves Julie. So it'll be a really good time. That's it. That's all I
All
got.
right.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
everyone. Be
Bye.
well, and we'll talk to you next week. No, Thursday with Gretchen. Better be there. Bye.